I went to my Discord, I went to the generals chat, and one of the generals who is in the Air Force told me to watch a video about a fighter. So today we're going to watch a video about the F-15. F-35, F-22, now we're at the F-15. How many F's are there? I don't know, I don't give a I have too many F's to give. I don't know much about this, but it's supposed to be another one of those America's super planes that have served for decades and is very feared amongst its enemies, and it goes back to the Cold War. I love the Cold War. Before we start, I'm gonna tell you a story. You know, Estonia is a Nordic country, right? Well, kinda, or Eastern European, Northern European, mix of them both. But you know what is a strong northern country? Finland. Straight north to Estonia there is Finland. Reindeer are from Finland, and reindeer do exist. I was surprised that some of you guys thought, oh, reindeer don't exist, what are you talking about? A fairy tale? No, they actually do exist. There are real animals living there. Why is it connected is because, whoa, look at my watch. This is Rohje. This is one of the best watches I've ever worn in my life. And this strap is made out of reindeer leather. Real reindeer leather. Yes, they do exist if you didn't know back in America. They are in Finland. If you want to see them, go and see them. If you want to feel them, just get this watch and you have handmade Finnish quality Nordic power on your arms with reindeer leather. Very cool. The link is in the description below. I don't accept advertisements on my channel because I don't want to. The only one I do accept is from our Nordic brothers, Finnish. So yeah, Rohje Watch. The only advertisement you will see on my channel. The F-15.
For nearly 3 decades, the F-15 Eagle fighter was considered the undisputed king of the skies. Until the debut of its replacement, the F-22 Raptor, the F-15 was the US Air Force's frontline air superiority fighter.
Oh, wait a minute. We have done things backwards on this channel. I started reviewing the F-35, then I went to the F-22, thinking that was the old thing, and now we have the F-15, even older than the F-22. I'm doing things backwards here. What is before the F-15? F-10? F-9? I don't know. How many F's are there? I guess we have a lot more reviewing to do.
Even today, a modernized Eagle is still considered a formidable opponent, and manufacturer Boeing has proposed updated versions that could keep the airframe flying for the better part of a century. The F-15 traces its roots to the air war in Vietnam and the inauspicious showing of American Air Force and Navy fighters versus their North Korean counterparts. Large, powerful American fighters, designed to tackle both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions, were performing poorly against their smaller, less powerful, but less maneuverable North Vietnamese counterparts.
What does the US Air Force and Army need most? Is it a fighter that can do everything air-to-air, air-to-ground, destroy naval targets, or just 3 different fighters? One to destroy naval targets, one to destroy aerial targets, and one to destroy land targets? Or would they prefer to put it all together in one? I don't know. What's the strategy here? I know the F-35 is more air-to-land attack plane, F-22 is more air-to-air because it's so capable and so agile in the air, it can move faster, better to take down enemy planes with it than to attack targets on the ground, although you can do that if you want to. I think it would be smart to develop a plane that is the best in the world in the air, destroying targets on the ground and even destroying naval targets, everything, just in one plane. It would be expensive as hell, I imagine, but still, you don't have to have 3 different planes, you don't have to have that big numbers of that plane, you can just use it in every situation. Maintaining a big number of planes is expensive, so it's much better to have a smaller number of planes, but they're so advanced, so ahead of their enemies that they can destroy everything on the air, in the land, everywhere. I'd pick that option.
The 13-to-1 kill ratio American flyers enjoyed in the Korean War
13 to 1! What? You shoot down 13 enemy planes and then you lose 1? What? That is total air superiority.
An abysmal 1.5-to-1 kill ratio in Vietnam.
Whoa, that's
Contemporary fighters, such as the F-14 Phantom, had been designed with the assumption that the air-to-air missile had rendered dogfights obsolete, and with them the need for superiority, maneuverability, and a gun for air combat. The US Air Force decided it needed a dedicated air superiority fighter, one that combined 2 powerful engines, a powerful radar, a large number of missiles, and a gun. Above all, it had to be maneuverable enough to win a dogfight. The U.S. Air Force issued a request for proposals for the new FX fighter in 1966, and no fewer than 6 companies submitted competing paper designs. No prototypes were built. The Air Service selected McDonnell Douglas, now a part of Boeing, in 1969, ordering 107 full-scale development planes.
107, alright. It's an alright number if you compare it to F-22s. There were only about 300 of them in existence at all, but if we compare it to F-35, what the US officially wants to buy 2,000 and they want to sell it abroad also, then these numbers are very tiny. I mean, we all know the F-35 project is bloated up and the numbers are illusory. It's impossible to build 1,000 of those planes, I think. You can't really do that. 100 of them, very realistic. And even the biggest air forces in the world, the US Air Force, does not need more than 100 of the most powerful fighters in the world. You don't need tens of thousands like you do need tanks. Fighters are a lot more expensive than tanks. The numbers can be a lot smaller to do the same effect. I mean, wars are won by air superiority, that's what I think at least.
The F-15 was a formidable aircraft. Early versions were powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney P100, PW100 afterburning turbofan engines, producing 14,500 pounds of static thrust, 23,500 with afterburners. This gave the aircraft a thrust-to-weight ratio of greater than 1, making it so powerful that it was the first fighter to exceed the speed of sound in vertical flight.
Hey!
The F-15 had so much thrust, it could climb to 65,000 feet in just 122 seconds. In horizontal flight, the F-15 could reach speeds of Mach 2.5 and cruise at speeds of
2.5 for a fighter. Whew. I mean, we're talking about Blackbird, the fastest military plane in the world, doing over Mach 3, and we don't know the exact numbers, and that was like insane, the fastest thing in the world in the Cold War. And this is just a fighter here in the US Air Force and doing over Mach 2. I think when it came out it didn't have a rival. Well, now it's of course obsolete. I don't know, maybe it is not, but it seems like F-22, F-35 might do away with this plane, but back then I think it was the king of the skies, as it said.
Mach 0.9. The Eagle's AN/APG-63 nose-mounted radar was the most advanced of its day, a solid-state radar with look-down, shoot-down capability, and a range of up to 200 miles. This allowed the F-15 to pick out low-flying enemies on radar against the clutter generated by the ground. The radar was also the first to incorporate a program.
Wait, so it finds enemies by the vibrations on the ground. If the enemy is flying low, it creates a lot of noise on the ground by the air movements and sound and everything. And the radar does not pick up the enemy, it picks up the ground movements and then locates the enemy. Very strange, but I guess it works. A lot of cool videos I have discovered because you patrons have suggested them to me. I answer patron messages at least twice a week, so if you want to send me a message or a video, send it through there. We do have a lot of patrons and I want to thank these people for supporting this channel. They're keeping it afloat, keeping it above the water. Thank you, Jordan Felon. Evan Craig, thank you for becoming a patron. Zachary Swar, I don't know how to say your last name, it's Swar. Thank you, Mr. Swar. If you want to become a patron, just the link is in the description below. I'll read out your name, I'll be thankful to you, and you can send me videos to react to. I mean, you can also do that if you become a general and you can send them through Discord general chat, and I'll read those also. I mean, today's video is suggested by a general. Pick whichever one you want to do.
Which allowed moderate upgrades to be done via software and not intrusive hardware updates. The Eagle was originally armed with 4 radar-guided AIM-7 Sparrow missiles for long-range engagements, and 4 AIM-9 Sidewinder infrared-guided missiles for short-range engagements. In the air war over Vietnam, USAF FC-4 Phantoms, lacking a dedicated gun, missed several opportunities to down enemy aircraft. This was remedied in the F-15 by equipping the plane with an M61 Vulcan 20mm Gatling gun.
Oh, a Gatling gun. A Gatling gun on a fighter. What are you gonna do with a Gatling gun on a fighter? I know it has a reason, but I can't imagine that. A fighter going over Mach 2 speed shooting a Gatling gun. I want to see that on a video. That would be so cool to see fighters doing dogfights without missiles.
The F-15 was also designed with long range in mind, carrying 3 600-pound fuel tanks, The F-15 had a range of 3,000 miles, making it
3,000
possible to
miles?
fly from the continental United States to Europe without stopping or mid-air refueling.
What the hell? So long? It's almost as B-2, you know, the most expensive bomber in the world who could fly from America to Afghanistan and back again without refueling, just doing that one trip. Could fly about 5,000 miles, I think. This is a fighter. It's meant for, you know, you go up in the air, you make a short fight, a strong punch, and they come back, but this one can stay in the air for a long time if necessary.
This would make it possible to quickly reinforce NATO air defenses in case of a crisis in Europe, and later would permit the Air Force to quickly dispatch F-15s to Saudi Arabia during Operation Desert Storm. The first F-15 prototypes flew in 1972, and serial production began in 1973. The plane rapidly began to populate both the U.S. Air Force and friendly air forces, including Israel, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. The F-15's first air-to-air kill was on June 27, 1979, when Israeli Air Force ace Moshe Melnick shot down a Syrian Air Force MiG-21 in his F-15A.
Alright, shot down the Soviet MiG-21. America supplies Saudi Arabia and Israel with a lot of weapons. So many weapons you couldn't even imagine. They make a lot of money from that. You guys Americans, you make a lot of money from that. Or the government does. Good for Israelis. I mean, they shot down the MiG. And if I watched a video about the 6-day war or Israelis versus everybody else, I mean, everybody wants to attack them where Israel is. Everyone is hostile around Israel, towards Israel. So they do need good weapons. They do need American weapons. And the 6-day war actually proved how effective American fighters are against MiGs. MiGs are the Soviet-made fighters. They are good, yes, they are good, but they're lesser. They're not that good. What's that? Friendly air package incoming. This is the friendly care package, actually. Look at this NATO flag. I didn't have it before. Since Estonia and US are allies, why don't you guys send me a NATO flag and I already installed it? And I'll have a letter here. Just a suggestion where you can put the NATO flag. Above the rifle and YouTube button award. Well, here it is, above the rifle. Remember NATO motto. Mind unfettered in deliberation. I didn't actually know that. John Gutierrez, Missouri. Thank you, John, for sending me the NATO flag. This is what I was lacking. Now, as soon as my Texas flag arrives, I've ordered one already. I'll put it up because Texas won the cup competition. I don't have it yet. If I get it, I'll put it up. If you want to send me mail, the address is here. Just send it and I'll feature it in the video. Thank you, John.
Melnick would eventually down 4 aircraft from F-15As and F-15Cs for a career total of 11 enemy fighters shot down. Melnick's kill was the start of a remarkable string of 104 consecutive air-to-air victories for the F-15, with not a single eagle lost.
What? 104 victories without any losses. You can't do things like that on the ground. These numbers are illusory. You can't do them. Like, imagine winning 100 battles in a row with your company or something. In infantry business it doesn't work like that, but in the air this is so expensive. If you buy a plane, you better make it as advanced as possible, that it would win 100 battles in a row. This is how advanced it was back in the day, I guess. How much did it cost? I know the costs of F-22 and F-35, but how much did F-15 cost back in the day? And what does it mean in today's money? I mean, the inflation was different back in the day, so... 104 victories!
Israeli, Saudi, and American F-15s were responsible for this impressive streak. Israeli kills included were recorded between 1979 and 1982 and included Syrian MiG-25 Foxbat interceptors, MiG-21 and MiG-23 fighters, and a number of ground attack and strike aircraft. During the 1991 Gulf War, the American and Saudi tally included Iraqi MiG-29 Fulcrum fighters, Mirage F-1 fighters, and even a Tu-76 Candid medium transport. One F-15E Strike Eagle even scored an air-to-air kill against an Iraqi Mi-24 attack helicopter with a laser-guided bomb.
What? Attack helicopter? That's a weird dogfight. I mean, it wouldn't be a dogfight, of course, but helicopter against a fighter, I mean, there's no contest. If I was in chopper and I'd see fighters coming, I would run. I mean, is there a weapon, is there a missile you could equip on a chopper that shoots down fighters? Choppers air-to-air. That's breaking the boundaries, my friends. Hey, become a member of this channel. If you want to go to Discord, you can have a role in there, a soldier, sergeant, or a general. See this hat? I'll be giving away one of those hats every once in a while to sergeants and generals. For that, just become a member and go to the Discord. You'll be automatically assigned a role. Do you think you have everything in life? Do you? Wrong! You don't. If Russia attacks Estonia, I'm going to have to take two things to war. First of all, I'll take my weapon. This is my weapon. This is what I'll go with. It doesn't have a magazine because this is not allowed. Second of all, should I take Estonian Soldier uniform or Estonian Soldier hat? I have made my decision. I am ready for war. This is how I will go. See, you don't have everything in your life. You don't have this hat. This hat is amazing. Go and get it. The link is in the description below. Estonia and America need you. You can just get it from my Shopify. It is dead easy. And you know what? It is free shipping. Free shipping, wow! I'm gonna get 10! Oh, so many hats! I wanna send them all out to you, my friends, and I'll do it for free shipping because I can. And that is a fact. Oh, free shipping! Yeah! If you already have a weapon and you're in America, you're only lacking this, so go and get it. Link is in the description below. Don't have to pay for shipping. It will look magnificent. You can get 3 different colors. Estonian Soldier hat will not let you down, and that is a fact, my friends. Until my next video, stay cool and bye bye. I need to get myself one of those hats. This would look good on my barbecue. Hoorah!
The F-15A was eventually replaced in production by the F-15C, which included a newer AN/APG-70 synthetic aperture radar and newer F-100 PW-220 engines. The latest program, nicknamed Golden Eagle, stress tests F-15Cs for wear and tear, and 178 of the planes in the best physical condition, with the least received new APG-63V3 active electronically scanned array radars, and the joint helmet-mounted cueing system, allowing rapid transit acquisition with infrared-guided missiles. In the late 1980s, the F-15E was developed to supplement and eventually replace the F-111 fighter bomber as a penetrating, high-speed tactical strike aircraft designed to strike deep behind enemy lines in a NATO-Warsaw Pact war in Europe. The E model added conformal fuel tanks to increase range and a heavy bomb payload, the APG-63 radar, and a Lantern forward strike infrared and laser targeting pod. With the retirement of the F-111, the F-15E Strike Eagle is now the USAF's main tactical fighter bomber. The USAF bought its last F-15 in 2001. But foreign sales have kept Boeing's production line humming since.
The last F-15 went out to US 2001, so by that time it had already been working for 20 plus years, still not being obsolete. I mean, the F-22 had been out for, I think it made its first run in 96, the F-22, and this was very superior to the F-15, and they still bought the F-15. So this is how durable this plane is, and there's, as it said, the foreign sales are still running, so foreign countries still buying this plane, although it is made in the 70s. I know it's modified and it's modernized, but still old design, and still working nowadays. Americans can make their weapons, let me tell you that. But the F-22, nobody can get. F-15 for sale, F-35 for sale, F-22, no my friend, no, this is too good, we don't sell that.
The company has twice in recent years tried to again attract the interest of the Air Force. First with the semi-stealthy Silent Eagle in 2010. In 2016, Boeing again introduced a new F-15, Eagle 2040C. Eagle 2040C is designed to carry up to 16 AIM-120D AMRAAM radar-guided missiles, more than 4 times the original number. The Talon Hate data link would allow the upgraded design to network with the F-22 Raptor. One concept of operation would have the stealthy but relatively short on firepower F-22 flying among enemy aircraft, passing on targeting information to an Eagle 2040C acting as a flying missile battery.
Okay, so a data link, that is very important. One of the generals actually told me that, yes, if you have a very fast aircraft behind enemy lines that has a data link with your fighters, it can send you the enemy info. It doesn't have bombs or missiles to destroy the enemy, but it sends the info to you. You can shoot the missile, not even seeing the enemy, but your radars, your computers on board know where it is because there's a data link. The enemy is locked by the first plane. The lock is sent to your plane, which knows where it is and shoots the missile a few miles away maybe. Still hits the target. The data link thing is very good. You can shoot the enemy without even seeing them, knowing they're there. The radars and computers do the thing for you. Very effective.
Today, the USAF still employs around 177 upgraded F-16C and two-seater D models and approximately 224 F-15E Strike Eagles. F-15s are deployed in forward bases in both Europe and Asia, most notably at RAF Lakenheath in the UK and Kadena Air Force Base on the Japanese island of Okinawa. Japanese F-15Js also operate from Okinawa and were allegedly involved in an aerial encounter in June 2016 involving Chinese Su-30 flanker fighters. F-15Es are currently deployed at Incirlik Air Base, Turkey, where they're participating in the air war against Islamic State. In a world still dominated by fourth-generation fighters, the F-15 is an aging but still formidable fighter. The lack of sufficient numbers of F-22 Raptors to replace the Eagle has delayed the fighter's retirement, and it now trains to—
Okay, so the lack of the numbers. F-22 is supposed to be the most expensive fighter in US history and the best one, and they don't sell it abroad, but I guess they didn't make it that much because it was too expensive or something. It is still the best one, but they didn't make it as much, and this is why the F-15 is still going, still kicking it, not retired, since there is not enough F-22s and not enough F-35s yet, I guess. Same story as A-10 Warthog. I mean, it's 40 years old plane, still doing the job. What the hell? They designed good stuff in the 70s and 80s in the Air Force.
To complement the F-22 on the battlefield. The lack of a current viable replacement means it will be at least until the early 2030s before the remaining C and E models are retired. The F-15 airframe in all its flavors will almost certainly spend an impressive half-century in active service.
Whoa.
A first for a frontline US Air Force fighter.
Ooh, I have a lot of respect for these F fighters, 22, 35 and the 15 now. If there's any more of them, I'd like to know. Because all of their stories have been very impressive, except for the 35, which has a little bit of dark on its name now, but still. Also, what happened to these planes? F-15s, there's over, as I did the math, there's over 400 of different options of F-15s in the US Air Force currently. If they retire them all, what happens to them? 400 F-15s, do they sell them abroad, or just, we don't need them anymore? Who wants to buy them? Or do they just retire them to an old airfield in Nevada or somewhere? I know there's like an Air Force boneyard where all the planes will go, but these are very expensive fighters and still working, still able to destroy. So I'd pick the selling part. If you know about this, just send me a message in Discord or Patreon or wherever you can get a hold of me. My friends, get the hat. Look how cool it is. You need one of them, I'm telling you. And as always, my friends, until my next video, stay cool and bye bye.